Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Smoothie Sistas Live. I hope everyone's having a great Wednesday. My name is Miriam Tischler. I am one of the co-founders of Ginger and Juice Bar in South Miami. Today's episode is going to be bringing a very refreshing, very delicious, simple summer smoothie to you. So before we get in, for those who may not know or maybe haven't seen any of our other episodes before, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background so you know how we started doing Smoothie Sistas Live. So, my sister Becca and I, we have been wanting to open up a juice and smoothie bar for almost a decade. Finally, in March of this year, we decided to take the plunge and open our first location in South Miami. Unfortunately, just 18 days after we opened, we did have to close the juice bar due to everything going on with COVID and the pandemic. We are still closed at this time. We will keep you all posted on our opening plans. But while we're closed, we still wanted to bring delicious, healthy, nutritious recipes to you so you can make them in the comfort of your own home. Because just because the juice bar is closed, we don't want you to go without your smoothies and juices. So, like I said, today I have a really simple, really delicious summer smoothie for you. So, most of our recipes, you'll notice they'll have like 5 to 6 ingredients. This one is actually just 3 ingredients. So really simple, really easy to get the ingredients you need for the smoothie. There are 2 other ingredients you can add in as optional, and I will touch on those as well. But for the recipe I'm making, I'm just going to use the 3 more necessary ingredients. So I'm going to start out with 1.5 cup of fresh watermelon. So I already have it pre-cut here and measured out. Of course, when you make a smoothie with watermelon, you want to make sure you take all the green off and you just have the inside, the fleshy part. You don't want to eat the green in your smoothie or really any time. So watermelon is definitely one of my favorite summer fruits. It is so delicious. Such a good snack, such a good after dinner dessert. I have been completely loving it and eating it almost every night. So it's like this would be perfect to add to the smoothie. So another thing I really love about watermelon, especially in summer, is it's so hydrating. So watermelon is actually made up of around 90% water. So it's filling, it's nutritious, and it's really hydrating. So it's a great snack to eat while you're outside because you're still getting a lot of water and you're still hydrating yourself by eating this delicious fruit. Another thing I love about it is it has, it's really high in vitamin C. So not everyone loves oranges or not everyone wants to eat oranges all the time. So watermelon is a really great option to get vitamin C into your diet without just eating oranges or taking a vitamin C supplement. So typically, if you've seen our episodes before, you know we always start with the liquid first. In this specific recipe, we don't have an actual liquid we're pouring in. We're using the watermelon as our liquid. Just as I mentioned, watermelon is 95 or 90% made of water, so we're using that as our base and as our liquid. So since we don't have an actual liquid we're putting in, I am going to put the watermelon in first. Since in this recipe, that's the liquid that we're using. And the reason you always want to put either the most like water dense ingredient or the liquid at the bottom is because it'll really help the blender get going and the blades start turning. So it'll blend up everything else really well. So the next ingredient I'm going to add is some frozen raspberries. So I have about 1/3 of a cup of frozen raspberries here. And a little bit of a fun story. So I actually fresh picked these raspberries with my boyfriend and our neighbors. We went a couple weeks ago raspberry picking, and we got about 3 to 4 pounds of raspberries. So it was super fun, really affordable activity, great to do with kids as well. Really nice summer activity because you're picking the fruit, you get to take it home and eat it, and it's like you worked for the delicious thing that you get to eat. So there was so many pounds of raspberries and I didn't want them to go bad, so I did freeze about half of them. So then I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for this recipe. So I can use the watermelon that I've been eating so much, and then the raspberries that we picked fresh as well. So with the extra like 2 pounds I had, I just made sure to rinse them and wash them really well, and then just put them in the freezer. And then I got my fresh frozen raspberries for the recipe. So raspberries again are one of my favorite summer berries, summer snacks, and they're also really high in fiber and rich in antioxidants. So they're, definitely a great fruit, a great nutrient to add to your diet. So I'm going to add 1/3 cup of frozen raspberries in here. So the last ingredient I'm adding, and this is one I've never used on one of the Smoothie Sisters episodes before, is just some plain Greek yogurt. So I wanted to give this smoothie a bit of a more creamy texture instead of a more icy one. So I just have some plain Greek yogurt here. You can really buy any brand you want at the store. Just make sure you don't need any with the added sugar. You have a lot of sugar in here from the watermelon and from the raspberry, and you really don't need any additional in the yogurt. Same thing if you like to buy Greek yogurt just to snack on at home. I always recommend just getting the plain one. You don't need the one with the fruit at the bottom or the honey or whatever it is, because you can so easily do that at your house. And make it a lot healthier, because typically when the fruit's in there, it's in a syrup, and you just don't need the extra sugar and processed stuff in your diet. So if I ever eat Greek yogurt at home, I always just maybe put some fresh raspberries or blueberries. And then if I want that honey, I'll just use my fresh local honey. And I also love using local honey because it really helps with allergens and allergies as well. So that's just my little tidbit on Greek yogurt. Another reason I love adding Greek yogurt into my smoothies or into my diet is because it's really high in protein. So you don't need to eat a lot of like eggs if you don't want, or meat if you don't want to get that protein in your diet. Greek yogurt is a really good source of protein. So I have just a single serve cup of Greek yogurt here. I'm probably going to scoop in about like 1/3 to half of it. No specific measurement. I'm just going to, like I said, about half of it in there. Get a little extra like creamy texture. So as I mentioned, there are 2 optional ingredients. So one is you can add extra ice to it if you want. So since this only has one frozen ingredient, and it is the frozen raspberries, it's a lot less than the watermelon. So this is definitely going to be less of a frozen icy smoothie and more of like a creamy, like watery texture, because there's so much of the watermelon in there. If you wanted like a thicker, more icy smoothie, you could definitely add some ice in there. It's total preference, whatever you want to do. There's no right or wrong answer here. And then the other ingredient you can always add is, again, some local honey. So I always recommend getting local honey. Your local farmer's market will typically sell it. Sometimes you might even be able to find it online from like a local beekeeper, especially given the COVID environment right now. That could be a great way to buy it. But I love using local honey because, again, it helps with allergens. So you can maybe get rid of the allergy pill in your diet and just start incorporating some bee pollen or honey. So if you want this to be a little bit sweeter, you can definitely add like a tablespoon of honey or even a teaspoon of honey just to get a little bit of that extra sweet flavor. But for me, for today, I am just going to have the watermelon, the raspberry, and the Greek yogurt. So I'm going to blend this up. It should come out to a really pretty pink color because of the ingredients we have. So let me go ahead and do that. It might be loud for just a minute or so while I blend this up. It's blending up pretty quickly because, like I said, the only frozen ingredient is the raspberry, so it's really easy to blend up. So yeah, that blended up really quickly given that there was just the one frozen ingredient and it wasn't a huge amount. So for anyone who's interested, the blender I use is Vitamix. I've had it for, gosh, probably 5 to 7 years. It's been a while, and I use it almost every day. I love it. It's definitely on the pricier side, but I mean it's an investment. So if it's something you're interested in, I'm happy to tell you more about it, but there's so many great blenders out there. You just want to make sure that your blades are always sharp because that'll help the smoothie blend really well. Um, so let me go ahead and pour this out. So you can see it's a really nice like pink color. So, all right, so I'm gonna pour this right in here. Again, if you've watched our episodes before, you know we are huge advocates of reusable straws. Gotta save the little turtles in the ocean and all the other animals. So I always like using silicone straws for my smoothies just because the opening is definitely bigger than the metal or bamboo straws. For this particular smoothie, you could probably be just fine with the metal straw because it is on the thinner, more watery side. But for the thicker smoothies, I always use the silicone straw because it's way easier to drink out of. And you can get them on Amazon. They're really affordable. So let's give this a try. Oh my gosh. That's so good. This is like the perfect summer smoothie. Should be sitting in the back or by the pool with a book in your hand, with your dog by your side. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Again, I think it's great without the extra ice. It's still so cold, so refreshing, and it's just a little bit more on the watery side than the frozen icy side. So again, it's totally up to you. We have our next episode posting in just like a week or two. We'll have the Smoothie Sisters kids posting that my sister Becca does with her two kids, Hayden and Ethan. So we hope you will check us out for that. I will also put the full recipe in the comments. And if you do end up making it or making a version of it, please post it to your Instagram and tag us at Ginger and Juice Bar so we can take a look at your creation and share it for everyone else to see. So thanks again for joining us and cheers.